Go back to your passion for why you do what you do, and you'll reignite growth in your career. So many of us, because times are tough and you already know what the truth is, we stop doing what we need to do. We change our standards because we don't feel like it.
Welcome back to the Burn Podcast, and I am your producer, Tyler. This week on the show, we're talking about how true passion is absolutely required to unlock your highest level of performance. Recently, Ben spoke at the National Farm Bureau Conference in Kansas City, Missouri, and took over 1,000 of their brokers through this training to help them understand the connection of the burn and how using it can unlock their greatest potential. In this episode, we're going to jump into the crowd from that conference and go through the exact training that he delivered. Without further ado, let's jump right into the episode.
So when I wrote the book, The Standard, a couple of years ago, I went back. At the time, it was about 18 years that I had been doing this work. And remember, I didn't do anything in sports until 2011 when my old high school basketball coach called me and said, "Benny boy, these kids are underperforming, come fire them up. You don't start at Alabama football with Coach Saban, you go back to your high school for free. And you accept the invitation from your coach to say, I'll pour into those young men in that locker room. I think working in sports would be fun." I didn't know I'd work with Hall of Famers and national champions and gold medal Olympians. I had no idea. But I believed I wanted to serve those young men in that locker room that night. I'm going to be direct. The vein's going to pop one more time. You may not like me after I say this. Do not worry about your results. Go back to your passion for why you do what you do, and you'll reignite growth in your career. So many of us, because times are tough and you already know what the truth is, we stop doing what we need to do. We change our standards because we don't feel like it. That has to become unacceptable to you, because if your burn is similar to my burn, which was these two eyes that watched my mom that fueled me, maybe there are little eyes that are watching you in your home, and you say it's unacceptable to not show those little eyes. Or it's unacceptable for the members of my team who take action based upon how I show up, for me to live to my feelings and not standards, for me to complain about circumstance rather than appreciating that Ron Mead shared the truth. And then saying, what action can I take based upon the truth? I shared with you this one statement kept me at Alabama with the greatest coach to ever coach for 5 years, because we focused on standards, not feelings. When things go really well, don't be seduced by success. Keep doing the things that caused you to win. When your number's less than you want your number to be, stop living to your feelings and go back to your standards. And so we created, when I wrote the book, what I call the 4 P's of the Standard. This will take you 2 minutes every single morning. I promise you it'll be worth it. So it's important for me as a coach. Remember, this is not motivation. So as a coach, number 1, to protect more people, are you willing to connect to your burn every day? Powered by purpose, fueled by your burn. Right? My burn is my mother's story, my mother's fight. I won't waste a day. What's yours? If you connect to that burn every single day, what happens in your life? If you want growth, what did I share? I shared there's a number that's on that paper that maybe it has been acceptable to you lately, but once it becomes unacceptable and you go back to your standards, you're going to win like you once did, and maybe win like you never have before, because you have way more clients than you did when you were showing up that way with a smaller business. Now your business is bigger. It's actually easier, but you have to shift back to that perspective. Even when times are tough, if your book of business is bigger, that means there's more people that like you, love you, and trust you. And in a multi-line environment, which is your competitive advantage, if your business is bigger than it was your first year in the business because you have more clients, make sure you have a conversation about all the different ways you can impact their life. So the 4 P's go like this. Imagine every day you wake up and you say, what's the problem? Remember, if I was a motivational speaker, I would tell you everything is Pollyanna. We're going to leave here today, we're going to plant our feet to the ground, and we're going to take a bunch of deep breaths, and everything's going to be amazing. We're going to ride out of here on unicorns, and everything's going to be beautiful. I told you I'm a coach. That's not how success. That's not how winning is done. We have to be honest with ourselves, just like Ron was honest with us, and say, what's the potential problem? Maybe the problem is you've been winning so much, you're being seduced by success and you're pulling back from what you know you need to do to keep winning. Or maybe the current problem is it's expectancy theory. Expectancy theory is a psychology principle. That which you focus on expands. If you focus on negative, you get more negative. If you focus on positive, you get more positive. If I focus on Ron's message and I say that's so negative I don't want to do anything, well then guess what? Those underwriters' calls seem bigger.
Have you thought about writing a book, but just don't have the time? We would love to help you make that dream come true this year. Introducing B&C Publishing. We offer an in-house 3-step process to help you bring your book to life. The whole process only takes 60 to 90 days. Compared to 18 months for traditional publishing methods, we work fast. To see if we are a good fit to work together on your project, email our team at info@bennewman.net. That's info@bennewman.net. Now, back to the show.
As opposed to if I stay really busy in the business focusing on the positive solutions even in the midst of adversity, I accept that I have underwriters' calls, but they won't stop me because my momentum and the action I take every single day, I know I'm going to have underwriter calls. I know I'm going to have declines. I know I'm going to have adverse situations in my business. I know I'm going to have challenges. I just accept it and I keep moving. So you have to identify every morning, what's the potential problem in my business? Once you identify the problem, the second P, for those of you in the back, this says the problem. The second P, everybody in the back, the planning. This is very simple. Write down the action step of what you need to do to win. Not, I need to sell something today. I need to sell a car insurance policy. I need to sell a homeowner's policy. I need to sell a life insurance policy. I need to sell an annuity. No, the planning is, what if I make 5 points of contact into my P&C business today? What if I make 5 points of contact into my life insurance business today? What if I make 5 points of contact for annuity business today? Every line you're responsible for, you say, these are the number of times I'm going to let the world know. POC, point of contact, text message, email, phone call, I'm open for business. So you plan out, here's what I need to do to win. So you plan it out. Here's the problem. So if this is a problem, in order to make the problem not a problem, I have to plan out the solution. And then the performance piece. Very easy. Do what you say you're going to do. If you say the number is 5, then do 5. Not 2, because the first 2 phone calls went better than expected, so you feel like you don't need to do the last 3. That's living to your feelings when things go well. You do what you say you're going to do regardless of results. If the number's 5, you do 5. If the number's 5, you do 5. If the number's 5, you do 5. And I'd even encourage you to do 1 extra. I call that the unrequired. The unrequired are the things that other people can't see, they won't do, they don't want to talk about, that the highest performers in the world choose to make a priority in business and in sports. And the reason why the unrequired works is because if I say your number's 5 and you do 1 extra, you cannot do the unrequired until you've done what? What's required is the first 5. So from a psychology standpoint, we actually build a mindset where it's impossible to not do what you said you were going to do if you believe that the unrequired will be the difference for you. So much of your career is right here. Now, all you've heard me talk about is business. I want everybody, if you could please put on the screen that main speaker slide for me. There's one of these URL codes. I've had to adapt to technology. I've never been good with technology, but that URL code, because I only got an hour with all of you. I could spend weeks with all of you. I literally could spend weeks with all of you. That URL code will take you to a training. It's the most popular mental toughness training tool that I've ever used. I've used the same 6 mental training tools in my work with individuals just like you, as well as people in sports over the last 15 years, the same tools. Coaching for almost 20, but these same tools for almost 15. It's called Your Prize Fighter Day. It'll help you break down the decisions and choices, not just POCs to generate business. My family means the world to me. I want you to recognize there's many individuals that do the work that you do and they say that balance doesn't exist. Balance does exist. It's a choice. Any coach that tells you balance doesn't exist, run the other way because they lack discipline. You want to work out, you want to eat right, you want to spend time with your family, then prioritize your life. And that is the number one tool that I've used to help some of the highest performers who have ever walked the face of the earth build what it means to win one day at a time. That is a 20-minute course. It is yours. Personally, professionally, in your service to others, 20 minutes, and that'll give you the opportunity to build a prize fighter day. And that prize fighter day, when you win one day at a time, will become your payoff. And when you get the payoff, when you stack prize fighter days over and over and over and over and over again, the byproduct is winning at very high levels. If you wake up every day and take 2 minutes to say, I'm going to connect to the problem, I'm going to plan out my day, I'm going to drive this performance piece, I know what the payoff is. The payoff is confirmation that the process is working. Then it becomes logical that you want to continue the process one day at a time.